Sometimes life teaches you a lesson in the most unexpected moment. Maybe you dropped something, made a small mistake, or said something you didn't mean, and for a second, you feel bad. You feel imperfect. You feel like you should have done better. But then something inside you whispers, "Why are you being so hard on yourself?" That is the moment when the truth becomes clear. You are human, and humans are never perfect. Think about your life for a moment. All the times you tried your best. All the times you cared. All the times you kept going, even when no one noticed. None of those moments required you to be perfect. They only required you to be real. Yet we spend so much time trying to hide our flaws, trying to look strong, trying to act like everything is fine even when our heart feels heavy. But here's the beautiful part. Your imperfections are not your weakness. They make you relatable. They make you stronger. They make you who you are. You don't need to be perfectly shaped, perfectly confident, or perfectly successful. You only need to be honest, sincere, and growing little by little, day by day. And that's where this story begins, with the simple truth that nobody is perfect. And that's exactly why your life still has so much beauty, hope, and possibility. Chapter 1. The Myth of Perfect People. From childhood, we are quietly trained to believe that perfection is the goal we must chase if we want love, respect, and acceptance. Parents unknowingly say, "Be the perfect child," as if mistakes erase worth. Schools demand perfect grades, as if learning has no value unless it is flawless. Social media presents perfect faces, perfect bodies, perfect lifestyles, making it seem like anything less than ideal is failure. Society whispers, "Be perfect," or "be forgotten," and we grow up living in an invisible pressure cooker that tightens around us with every expectation we try to meet. We start believing that mistakes are disasters, that flaws are weaknesses, and that imperfection automatically makes us unworthy. But pause and ask yourself, have you ever met a single human being who has never made a mistake? Someone who has never broken down, never doubted themselves, never felt lost, never messed up, never questioned if they're good enough? You haven't. Because such people do not exist. The image of perfection we see in others is a carefully crafted illusion built through filters, edited photos, selective storytelling, hidden fears, and silent struggles. Behind every perfect person is someone who feels scared, insecure, uncertain, and overwhelmed, just like you. Perfection is not real. But the pressure to be perfect is painfully real, and this is where the true damage begins. It creates a world where people pretend instead of heal, hide instead of express, collapse inside while looking strong outside. It makes us chase something that does not exist, and in that endless chase, we lose the ability to appreciate ourselves for who we are. And the truth is simple. The myth of perfect people survives only because we keep believing in it. When you stop believing it, you free yourself from a burden you were never meant to carry. Chapter 2. Why we chase perfection, even though it's impossible. Human beings are born with a deep need for acceptance because thousands of years ago, being accepted by the tribe was necessary for survival. Rejection meant danger, isolation, and often death. Even though the world has changed, our brain still carries that ancient instinct. And now the tribe is much larger. Society, school, workplace, family, friends, and the endless world of social media. This makes perfection feel like a survival strategy. We unconsciously think, if I'm perfect, nobody will judge me. If I'm perfect, I'll be loved. If I'm perfect, I'll succeed. If I'm perfect, I'll finally feel good enough. We try to build a flawless version of ourselves, hoping it will protect us from criticism, rejection, or disappointment. But this mindset comes with a painful hidden cost. The more you chase perfection, the more flawed you feel. Because no matter how hard you try, perfection is never achievable. And your mind punishes you for not reaching something that isn't real. Slowly, you begin to doubt yourself. You become insecure. You fear failure. You overthink everything. You stop trying new things because you're terrified of making mistakes. You procrastinate because starting feels risky. You compare your life to everyone else's highlight reel and feel smaller each time. You carry a constant fear of being judged. And even when you achieve something, it never feels enough. This endless chase leads to burnout, anxiety, and emotional exhaustion. The tragedy of perfectionism is that you suffer while trying to become someone you think others will approve of, all while forgetting that your true value is in your humanity, not your performance. The irony is painful yet beautiful. Imperfection is where learning happens, where personality grows, and where authenticity lives. Yet we run from it when we should be embracing it with open arms. Chapter 3. The Beauty in Imperfection. There is a secret about life that most people never fully understand. Everything truly beautiful is imperfect. Look at nature. The sky doesn't have equal colors. Mountains are jagged, trees grow unevenly, rivers bend and twist rather than flow in straight lines. The moon is full of craters. Yet we look at these imperfections and call them stunning, peaceful, breathtaking. Nature doesn't try to be perfect. It simply exists as it is, raw, uneven, flawed, and incredibly beautiful. Humans are no different. Your quirks, your scars, your history, your unique mix of strengths and weaknesses, these things make you one of a kind. They aren't flaws. They are the fingerprints of your identity. Imagine a world where everyone looked the same, thought the same, acted the same, made the same choices, and lived the same life. It would be painfully boring, empty, and lifeless. Your imperfections give you depth. Your mistakes give you wisdom. Your struggles give you courage. Your emotions make you real. What you see as flaws are often the very things that make you unforgettable. Perfect people may look impressive, but imperfect people are the ones who feel alive, relatable, and inspiring. You don't fall in love with someone because they are perfect. You fall in love because they are human, because they feel, because they try, because they have a story. And the same applies to you. Stop running from the things that make you different. Stop wishing to erase the experiences that shaped you. The beauty of your life lies not in perfection, but in your journey, your growth, and your heart. When you accept your imperfections, you step into a kind of freedom that perfection could never give you. Chapter 4. The Lies. Perfectionism tells you. Perfectionism never shouts. It whispers. It sits quietly inside your mind and tells you things that sound logical but feel heavy. It pushes you to do more, be more, achieve more. Yet, no matter how much you do, it keeps saying, not enough. Sometimes you don't even realize it's controlling you. You just feel tired, stressed, and afraid to make even a small mistake. It tells you that one wrong step will ruin everything, that people will laugh, judge, or think less of you. But the truth is, most people are too busy with their own lives to remember your mistakes. What they do remember is your honesty, your kindness, your sincerity. Things that have nothing to do with perfection. Perfectionism lies when it says your worth depends on your achievements. You were worthy the day you were born, and nothing you do, good or bad, can change that. It lies when it says everyone else has their life together. They don't. Everyone is struggling with something. Some people just learn to hide their flaws better. It lies when it tells you to please everyone. Because the more you try to make everyone happy, the more you lose your sense of self. You cannot carry the world on your shoulders, and you were never meant to. It lies when it says you must hide your flaws. But flaws are what make you real. They create connection. They make people feel safe around you. Perfectionism promises safety, but it gives you fear. It promises success, but gives you stress. It promises control, but traps you in self-doubt. The truth is simple. Perfection doesn't make you stronger. Only humanity does. Only courage does. Only honesty does. The day you understand that you don't need to be perfect is the day you begin to feel free. Chapter 5. The Power of Making Mistakes. From childhood, most of us are taught that mistakes are something to be ashamed of. If you write the wrong answer, you're corrected. If you fail a test, you're blamed. If you make a wrong choice, you're judged. Slowly, without realizing it, you begin to believe that mistakes make you less smart, less capable, less worthy. But this idea is completely wrong. Every great achievement in history was built on mistakes. Edison didn't discover the light bulb by being perfect. He discovered it by failing thousands of times. Each failure guided him, showed him what didn't work, and brought him one step closer to what did. The world's greatest athletes miss more shots than they score. The best writers rewrite their books again and again. The smartest inventors fail more times than they succeed. Mistakes weren't obstacles. They were teachers. Your mistakes are also your teachers. When you make one, life is not punishing you. Life is guiding you. Life is shaping you. Life is preparing you for something better. Think about a time you messed up and felt terrible. Now look at yourself today. Didn't you grow because of that moment? Didn't you learn something you never would have learned otherwise? That is the power of mistakes. They transform you quietly, slowly, but powerfully. Mistakes are not a sign that you are weak. They are proof that you are trying. They are proof that you are human. And every time you get back up after failing, you become a little braver, a little wiser, a little stronger. So don't fear mistakes. Fear staying in the same place because you're too scared to move. Fear not trying. Fear wasting your potential. Because mistakes don't stop your journey, they build it. Chapter 6. How Imperfection Builds Confidence. People often think confidence comes from doing everything right. But if that were true, almost no one would be confident. Real confidence doesn't come from perfection. It comes from resilience. It comes from knowing that even if things go wrong, you can handle it. Think about the strongest version of yourself. That version wasn't created on your best days. It was created in moments when you felt embarrassed, disappointed, insecure, or defeated. When life pushed you down and you stood back up anyway. When situations got messy, but you chose to keep moving. That's where confidence is born. Confidence grows each time you face something uncomfortable. Each time you speak up even when your voice shakes. Each time you try again after failing. Each time you choose courage over fear, even for a few seconds. Perfection says, I can't make mistakes. Confidence says, Even if I make mistakes, I can figure it out. Perfection says, I must look strong. Confidence says, I can be real. Perfection says, everyone must like me. Confidence says, I like myself, and that's enough. When you accept your imperfections, you stop trying to impress people and start trying to express yourself. You stop living in fear and start living in truth. You stop hiding and start growing. And this is the secret. The more imperfect experiences you go through, the more confident you become. Because every challenge teaches you something new about yourself. Every lesson makes you wiser. Every setback makes you tougher. Confidence is not a gift. It's a result. A result of surviving things you thought would break you. A result of learning from moments you wanted to erase. A result of embracing the imperfect parts of your journey. You don't need a perfect life to be confident. You just need the courage to live honestly. Chapter 7. What really makes a person great? People often think greatness comes from perfection. Perfect looks, perfect skills, perfect achievements. But if you look closely, the people who truly inspire you are not perfect at all. Their greatness comes from something deeper, something real, something human. What truly impresses people is your kindness. Kindness has a way of touching hearts without making noise. It stays in people's memory long after they forget everything else. What impresses people is your resilience, the way you rise after falling, the way you keep moving when life tries to break you. Strength isn't shown in a flawless life. It's shown in the life that survived storms. Honesty also makes you great. When you speak your truth without pretending, without wearing masks, people trust you. Your ability to listen makes you someone others feel safe with. Humility makes you grounded, even when you achieve something big. The courage to try again, even when you're scared, shows a bravery many people never reach. Passion brings fire into your life. Empathy opens your heart to others. And authenticity, the courage to be your real self, that is the rarest and most beautiful form of greatness. Greatness doesn't grow in perfect conditions. It grows in struggle, in pain, in learning, in rising after every fall. It comes from the moments when you feel broken, but choose to rebuild yourself. A perfect person may gain admiration for a moment, but an imperfect person wins connection that lasts a lifetime. People don't connect with perfection. They connect with humanity. They connect with someone who has scars, stories, and lessons. They connect with someone who is real. And that is the kind of greatness that never fades. True greatness is not about being flawless. It's about being human, deeply, fully, and honestly. Chapter 8. Comparison, the killer of joy. Comparison is one of the most painful habits we develop without noticing. You scroll through social media, see someone smiling, traveling, succeeding, and suddenly your life feels small. But what you're comparing is an edited moment, a highlight, not the real story. You compare your behind the scenes full of doubts and struggles to someone else's perfect-looking highlight reel. You compare your insecurities to their confidence, your early beginnings to their years of experience, your real life to their filtered image. And this comparison quietly destroys your peace. What you don't see is the truth behind their success. You don't know the nights they cried. You don't know the failures they hide. You don't know their fears, their pressures, their sacrifices. Everyone has a journey you know nothing about. So why punish yourself for losing in a race you were never even supposed to run? Comparison makes you forget your own progress. It blinds you to your strengths. It creates a false idea that you're behind, when in reality, you're simply moving at your own pace. And that pace is perfectly okay. Every person has their own timeline. Some bloom early, some bloom late. But everyone blooms in their own season. Your story is not meant to look like anyone else's. Your journey is uniquely yours. The moment you stop comparing is the moment you start appreciating who you are and where you're going. Joy grows when comparison dies. Peace grows when you trust your path. Confidence grows when you celebrate your progress, instead of measuring it against someone else's. You don't need to be ahead of anyone. You just need to keep becoming a better version of yourself. Chapter 9. How Accepting Imperfection Sets You Free. There is a moment in life when you finally understand something powerful. Nobody is perfect, and nobody is supposed to be. When this realization reaches your heart, everything begins to feel lighter. Your shoulders relax, your breathing becomes calmer, your mind stops shouting at you. You stop expecting yourself to be superhuman. Accepting imperfection doesn't make you weak. It makes you free. When you stop chasing unrealistic expectations, you start living more honestly. You allow yourself to take risks without fear. You allow yourself to learn without shame. You ask questions instead of pretending you already know everything. You explore new skills without judging your early attempts. Life becomes wider, softer, more joyful. Accepting imperfection also helps you build deeper relationships. When you stop acting perfect, other people feel safe to be themselves too. They trust you more. They open up. Real connections grow, not the fake ones built on image, but the real ones built on understanding. You also begin to forgive yourself more easily. You stop punishing yourself for things you couldn't control. You stop replaying your mistakes in your mind. And slowly, you start forgiving others too, because you understand that everyone is doing their best with the emotions and experiences they carry. Living with imperfection allows you to rest without guilt. You no longer feel forced to perform every second of your life. You no longer feel pressured to be impressive. You simply live, learn, and grow at a pace that feels right. Imperfection isn't a problem you need to fix. It's a truth you need to embrace. Because once you accept it, you become free from judgment, free from fear, and free from the weight of perfection. And in that freedom, you finally discover who you truly are. Chapter 10. A Practical Guide to Embracing Imperfection. Accepting imperfection is not something that happens overnight. It is a skill you learn, strengthen, and practice every single day. The first step is to stop apologizing for simply being human. You don't owe anyone an apology for needing rest, making mistakes, asking for help, or not having everything together. These things don't make you weak. They make you normal. The next step is to show your real self to people. Pretending creates distance. Authenticity builds trust. When you allow yourself to be seen, not the edited version of you, but the real you, life becomes much lighter. Another powerful habit is celebrating progress instead of perfection. Every small improvement matters. One tiny step forward today is still growth, no matter how slow it feels. And while you grow, allow yourself to fail. Failure is not a sign of incompetence. It is a sign that you're trying, exploring, and pushing your boundaries. Replace perfection-focused goals with growth-focused ones. Instead of telling yourself, "I must be the best," try saying, "I will get better every day." This shift removes pressure and increases motivation. Stop comparing your life with others because comparison kills joy and blinds you to your own progress. Everyone is walking a different path with different challenges. Appreciate your flaws, your scars, your insecurities, your unique traits, because they make you who you are. Remember that perfection itself is subjective. What one person sees as a flaw, another may see as beauty. Practice self-compassion by speaking to yourself gently, the same way you would comfort someone you love. And above all, accept that growth is messy. Healing is messy. Life is messy. None of us are meant to be smooth, polished, and flawless. Embracing imperfection is the only way to live freely, honestly, and peacefully. Chapter 11. The truth about people who pretend to be perfect. People who try to look perfect from the outside often carry the heaviest battles on the inside. They appear confident, strong, and unshakable, but beneath the surface, they are terrified of being judged, exposed, or misunderstood. Their perfection is a shield, a mask, a performance designed to protect them from criticism. They hide their emotions because vulnerability scares them. They overachieve because they fear that being average will make them unlovable. They smile in public, but break down in private. They pretend to have everything under control because they fear that showing weakness will make others reject them. And the irony is that the world often praises these people for being perfect without realizing how much pain is hiding behind that image. Meanwhile, the person who embraces their imperfections, who admits their flaws, who shares their struggles, who shows their real emotions, is actually stronger. They don't need to pretend. They don't need to wear a mask. They don't spend their life performing for approval. They stand confidently in their humanity, and that takes courage far greater than the courage of keeping up a perfect facade. When someone pretends to be perfect, they distance themselves from real connection. People admire them, but they don't truly know them. But when someone is imperfect but honest, they build genuine relationships because others feel safe around them. The truth is simple. Perfection isolates, while authenticity connects. So when you see someone who looks flawless, remember they are human too. They bleed, break, heal, and rise like everyone else. And often, the person who seems the strongest is the one who is most afraid inside. Real strength does not come from appearing perfect. It comes from being real. Chapter 12. Imperfection in relationships. Relationships thrive not because two perfect people come together, but because two imperfect people choose to understand, communicate, and grow with each other. Perfection is not the foundation of love. Honesty is. When you try to be perfect in a relationship, you create a mask that blocks intimacy. You pretend you never get hurt, never get confused, never get insecure. But all this pretending builds emotional walls. Eventually, the relationship starts to feel distant because your partner cannot connect with a version of you that isn't real. Healthy relationships are built on communication, speaking honestly about your feelings, sharing your fears, discussing your needs. They grow through patience, where both people accept that misunderstandings will happen and choose to work through them. Forgiveness plays a major role too, because mistakes are guaranteed, and it takes emotional maturity to move forward instead of holding grudges. Vulnerability is one of the strongest pillars of a relationship. Letting someone see your flaws, your doubts, your tears, and your imperfections creates closeness. It shows trust. It shows sincerity. It shows that you're willing to share not just the bright parts of your life, but the shadows, too. When two people allow each other to be imperfect, they create a safe space where real love can grow. They don't expect perfection, they expect honesty. They don't demand flawlessness, they appreciate effort. They don't run from challenges, they face them together. The truth is, the strongest relationships are not the ones without problems. They are the ones where both people choose each other even when things are hard. They grow, not because everything is perfect, but because both hearts are willing to try. And in the end, authenticity, not perfection, is what makes love truly last. Chapter 13. Imperfection and Self-Love. Real self-love does not grow from perfection, it grows from acceptance. You cannot truly love yourself if you only approve of the polished, successful, confident parts of your life. Those are the smallest parts of you. The real you is made of everything. Your messy moments, your fears, your hidden insecurities, your mistakes, your regrets, and the memories you rarely talk about. To love yourself, you must accept all of it. Self-love means looking at your imperfect habits without shame. It means forgiving yourself for the decisions you made when you didn't know better. It means being gentle with yourself during the moments when you fall apart. Self-love is not a reward you earn by becoming perfect one day. It is a choice you make every day, especially on the days when you feel unworthy. Loving yourself means saying, yes, I have flaws. Yes, I make mistakes. Yes, I am still learning, but I am worthy anyway. It means understanding that your value doesn't disappear when you fail. It means treating yourself with the same compassion you offer others. When you practice self-love, you stop criticizing yourself for every imperfection and start appreciating the person you are becoming. You begin to see that healing takes time, growth takes courage, and progress takes patience. Self-love is not about creating a perfect version of yourself. It is about embracing the real version. And once you do that, your relationship with yourself becomes stronger, softer, and more peaceful. Chapter 14. Imperfection and Success. Many people believe that success is the result of flawless performance, perfect decisions, and never making mistakes. But real success is built on persistence, resilience, and the courage to continue even when things get messy. Success comes from the willingness to try, fail, adapt, and try again. It comes from patience, showing up day after day, even when progress feels slow. It comes from practice, putting in the effort long after the excitement fades. It comes from resilience, recovering each time life knocks you down. And most importantly, success comes from adaptability. Your ability to adjust, learn, and grow through challenges. Perfection doesn't create success. In fact, perfection blocks you. It makes you scared to start. It makes you afraid to take risks. It forces you to wait for the right time, which often never arrives. But consistency builds you. Showing up imperfectly is still better than waiting endlessly to show up perfectly. Every successful person you admire has failed more times than you can imagine. Their victories came from persistence, not perfection. So if you want success, don't aim to be perfect. Aim to be consistent. Don't fear mistakes. Fear not trying. Don't chase flawless results. Chase continuous growth. Success is not about being the best. It's about being better than you were yesterday. Chapter 15. Imperfection and Happiness. Happiness begins the moment you stop forcing yourself to be perfect. When you release the pressure to prove, impress, or perform, you finally create space in your life to breathe. You begin to enjoy the small things, like quiet mornings, warm smiles, simple conversations, or a moment of peace after a long day. You start appreciating the present instead of chasing a perfection that doesn't exist. Imperfection makes life lighter. You laugh more because you don't fear looking silly. You relax more because you don't feel the need to control everything. You feel more deeply because you are no longer hiding your emotions. You connect more honestly because you show your real self to others. Happiness does not live in flawless routines, perfect achievements, or a life with no mistakes. Happiness lives in acceptance. Accepting your journey, accepting your timing, accepting your flaws, accepting that life will always be imperfect but still beautiful. When you stop trying to be perfect, you give yourself permission to be human. And that is where happiness grows. It grows in authenticity, in simplicity, in gratitude, in the everyday moments that perfection blinds you from seeing. The truth is, perfection is stressful, but being real is peaceful, and peace is the foundation of true happiness. Chapter 16. Embracing Imperfection as a Lifestyle. Embracing imperfection is not a one-time decision. It is a lifestyle. It is a way of living that allows you to face life as it is, rather than how you wish it could be. When you accept that mistakes, flaws, and failures are part of being human, you release the weight of impossible expectations. Life stops feeling like a performance, and you stop pretending to be someone you are not. You start showing up fully, honestly, and courageously in every area of your life. Imperfection becomes your teacher, guiding you through experiences that no perfect plan could ever prepare you for. You learn to celebrate progress instead of obsessing over results. You learn to be patient with yourself when growth feels slow. You learn to forgive yourself for decisions you would have made differently in hindsight. You learn that strength is not the absence of struggle, but the ability to rise again and again, despite it. Imperfection allows you to connect more deeply with others because you are no longer hiding behind masks. You begin to see the beauty in your scars, the wisdom in your failures, and the courage in your persistence. Over time, embracing imperfection shapes your mindset, your habits, your relationships, and your sense of self. It becomes a natural part of who you are. Instead of chasing an impossible ideal, you start chasing meaning, growth, and authenticity. Instead of fearing judgment, you start valuing your own experience. Living with imperfection is living freely. It is living fully. It is the path to confidence, happiness, and peace that perfection could never give you. Conclusion. Nobody is perfect, and that's okay. The truth is simple. Nobody is perfect. Not your friends, not your family, not the people you admire online, and not even you. Perfection is an illusion, a story told by society, by social media, and by our own fears. Chasing it only leads to stress, comparison, and disappointment. The real journey of life begins the moment you stop trying to be flawless. When you accept your mistakes, your flaws, and your messy moments, you unlock a freedom few ever experience. You realize that imperfections do not diminish your worth. They reveal it. They make you relatable, resilient, and human. You learn to embrace failure as a teacher, challenges as opportunities, and growth as a process, not a destination. You learn that happiness is not waiting for perfection. It is living fully in the present, appreciating small victories, and showing up honestly every day. Life becomes lighter, richer, and more meaningful. Your relationships deepen, your confidence grows, and your connection to yourself becomes stronger. Perfection was never the goal. Understanding, courage, growth, and authenticity are. When you finally accept that nobody is perfect, you begin to live your life with more peace, more joy, and more freedom than you ever imagined possible. And that, truly, is enough.